Hi, this is Ron Darling.
This is Skip Lockwood.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the 69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
Welcome to another edition of Mets Musings. Well, it's not the start that we had hoped for as Met fans, but they managed to pull out a victory today, so it's 3-6 on the season. Not a good start, and it's the usual culprits again that are causing the problems. Starters aren't going deep enough into games. The bullpen's been used too much. It's a disaster. Yesterday, they really had nobody ready in the bullpen simply because they had used them in 2 days in a row. Most of the guys pitched in part of the doubleheader Thursday and Friday night in Cincinnati. So yesterday's game, after a terrific pitching performance by Severino, was blown. They lost a 3-run lead. And that game was all on the bullpen. But Severino only went 5 innings. They have to get these guys up to 6, if not more. Somebody, couple of the guys. Now, Minaya went 5 today, and they were able to piece together the bullpen. The guys that didn't pitch yesterday had some rest, and now they're were able to go in today and did a good job. But this is going to be a problem if they can't. They've got to get length out of the starting pitching. It's been pretty good, but they just got to get that length, and they've got to get some offense. The offense has been terrible. They are last in all of a number of categories, offensive categories, slugging percentage, OBP, and I forget what the other one was, but they're just not performing well offensively. They strike out too much, this team. They still striking out like crazy, and it's they're all trying to hit home runs. Everybody's trying to hit the ball in the air, and it's just not working out. It just hit line drives, make contact. I'm so tired of saying this, but it's so true. Just put the bat on the ball. I know you hit good pitching once in a while, but this team is a strikeout team. It's just very frustrating. And the defense has been not good. It is not good, and it's by guys that have been good defensively in the past. Lindor has not looked that good at short. McNeil has made some bumbles, and they just have not looked good. Beatty, who was the one that had trouble in the defensive area, has improved. He's looked pretty decent at third base. The rest of the guys, there's been some mumbling and bumbling there that they've just not played good baseball this first week, and I'm a little disappointed, and I feel like an idiot. I thought this team would win 88 games, and I liked the players, but so far I'm not seeing much life. I'm not seeing them grind out at bats like they did a few years ago, and I don't know. I'm very disappointed so far, but it's still very young in the season, and hopefully they'll be able to change some of these things as they go along. Now, with a couple of wins under their belt, perhaps that'll make a big difference the way they treat everything. And it's tough because now they're going to go into 4 games with Atlanta in Atlanta, and that's going to be a tough series. But we'll see what happens. Injuries are already starting with the Mets, and that seems to be their thing. They have announced that they've signed outside the organization Julio Teheran. They made it official yesterday, and Michael Tonkin was designated for assignment as a corresponding move. No word yet on when Teheran is going to start. We shall see. JD Martinez still has not joined the team, so I'll reserve judgment completely on the offense till he gets here, and we'll see if he can make it the difference. Usually, or sometimes a good bat in a lineup such as his will make a big difference. It's just somebody that they have to pitch around, and it lifts everybody else up. So we'll see how his appearance when it happens makes a difference. I believe that we will see him in the Atlanta series. I don't know if it'll be Monday, tomorrow's game, but I would think by game 2 or 3 we should see him. If not, definitely by the Kansas City series next weekend at home. But as I mentioned briefly, the injuries are starting to mount. McGill is on the IL. Nimmo missed a couple of games with hamstring tenderness. He's back in the lineup. Played left field today, DH yesterday, so he's looks like he's okay. Sean Reed Foley is on the IL with a shoulder impingement. He was given a shot a few days ago and was shut down for 3 days. And Carlos Mendoza, the manager, said he should be ramping up soon. He's feeling good, and they anticipate a quick ramp up from him. Mendoza said that there was no update on Tyler McGill after he was placed on a 15-day injured list with a shoulder strain. They will reassess in the next couple of days, Mendoza said, and we'll check back in, see where he's at then. Hopefully he can start a throwing progression again soon. Mendoza also added that right-handed pitcher Max Kranick, who has been out with a hamstring strain, is progressing well, should be ready for a minor league rehab stint somewhere in the next week. So that's a good sign for Max Kranick, and another arm that they're going to use. As I said, they're going to bring Julio Teheran in now, and we'll see how he does. He was in spring training with Baltimore, pitched pretty well, but they did not put him on the opening day roster. He had the option to go to the minors or requested free agency, and signed with the Mets now. So he should not be too far away. From pitching at all. He was working out in spring training, pitching in spring training, so he should not be. It's not going to take him 6 weeks to get ready, like some of the other guys. So we should be able to see him quite soon, which would be a good sign for this team, at least. Something perhaps will go right. All right, let's take a quick break and come back right after this.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
Okay, and we're back, and we have a report on Kodai Senga. He's taken another step towards his return, throwing on back-to-back days last Sunday and Monday for the first time since his injury. He had resumed throwing last week as he works his way back from a moderate right posterior capsule strain. So Kodai Senga progressing nicely. Let's not rush him. Let's pray that he has no setbacks and he will be here in May. And that'll be a boost and a help to this team. They need all the help they can get at this point. And, again, I really like the looks of this team, but, I've been very disappointed so far in the young season by Beta. I think he's pretty much a fifth outfielder. He's not an everyday outfielder. Moved Nimmo back to center. Let Beta, come in late in the game if you want to, and move Nimmo to left. Something like that. I'm sorry that they should have really tried to sign a guy like Canha again in the offseason. That would have been a guy that I would have went and gotten. But they didn't. He's with Detroit now, and but that he was pretty good here. I would have brought him back, but they didn't. So Tyrone Taylor's been pretty good in his stints. Stewart has not done much. Zach Short has not done much. The bench is extremely weak, I think. I think they would be better off by dumping a guy like Zach Short or Joey Wendell. They have to keep one of them for a shortstop backup. So they have to keep one of them. But I think Vientos would be better in one of the spots. To get rid of, drop one of those guys. And my guess would be that if the offense continues to struggle and Vientos is red hot at Syracuse. So if the offense continues to struggle and they want to give it a boost and they bring in Vientos, I think Zach Short would be the guy to go. But we'll see. They're going to have to make a move when J.D. Martinez comes up. So Zach Short or Joey Wendell, one of those guys is going to go. And it depends upon who is more versatile and better with the glove. Wendell's played some short, some third and second, or mostly second, I guess. And one game blew the game. I mean, he didn't look good at all there. So he could be a guy that goes. We'll see what happens when that all shakes out. But they have to get something with the offense. They strike out too much. Just plain as day, they strike out too much. And finally on today's show, former Mets pitcher Pat Zachary has passed away at the age of 71 after a lengthy illness. Zachary pitched with the Mets for 6 seasons. He was part of the return from Cincinnati when the Mets infamously traded Tom Seaver to the Reds in 1977. In his 6th season with the Mets, Zachary had a 3.63 ERA, not too bad. He was an All-Star in 1978. Before joining the Mets, Zachary was the Rookie of the Year in 1976 with Cincinnati Reds. His 10-season big league career also includes stints with the Dodgers and the Phillies. So our condolences go out to the Zachary family. He was a pretty good pitcher. He wasn't awful. He was no Tom Seaver. Don't get me wrong. But he was pretty good pitcher and pitched okay with the Mets. They were just bad. They were just not good teams then. And plus his frustration, he kicked the water cooler, broke his toe. I mean, that didn't add to it. People got ticked off at him about that, but I think he was just frustrated with all the pressure coming to New York and replacing Seaver essentially. And who can replace the all-time great. But Pat Zachary passes away at the age of 71, and again, our condolences go out to the Zachary family. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. If you are watching on YouTube and wish to know when another episode is coming out, because you never know, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll always be aware when a new show comes out. Same thing with your audio podcast. If you can, hit the subscription button to Mets Musings or a like button. I don't know, different podcast apps have different ways of doing it, but make it a favorite on some of them. So we are on all of the major podcast apps, so wherever you get it, make it a favorite or subscribe or whatever you have to do. But then that way you'll always be made aware when a new episode of Mets Musings comes out. All right, it's going to be a short, quick turnaround because we hopefully have a guest lined up for this week to preview the Kansas City Royals, and when they come into town next weekend, so you'll be hearing from me soon. So until then, remember, keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets. I'm Gary Mack, and I'll see you next time on another edition of Mets Musings.